And welcome back, guys. It's Zero. We are back again with something new that we're going to be reacting to today, and that is the new Oversimplified The Second Punic War. It just came out today, so we're going to be taking a look at it, and let's just jump right in.
Made possible by Incogni. Use code Oversimplified in the link below for an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Also, make sure to grab our Roman console YouTube before it's too late. Don't make me mention it a
huge fan of the
third
Oversimplified
time,
series.
or you know what.
Good luck with that. My mom is in a
Hannibal's
box.
army had survived its famous crossing of the Alps, and he was now in Italy. With Hannibal's arrival, the Roman consul Scipio hit
His
the ground
artwork is just so
running.
beautiful.
In typical Roman fashion, he marched his army straight
Simplistic.
at the enemy, and Hannibal began preparing for his first combat with Rome on Italian soil. Before the battle, Hannibal wanted to inspire...
The great thing about these videos that I really enjoy is the fact that I'm a huge history nerd. So it allows me to tick that I want to learn more box at the same time if he brings a level of comedy that I really enjoy.
his men. So he staged a gladiatorial death match between captured Celt prisoners, with the winner getting prizes and freedom. He then explained
Shit.
that
The
whole
buckets!
thing was a metaphor. A metaphor? For what? You! These warriors are you! You're trapped in Italy with no escape. Your only choice now is to fight and win. What about the dead guy? That's you if you don't win. And the prizes? That's what you stand to gain by winning. And the fact that I've soiled myself in all this excitement? That... No, that's not part of the metaphor.
I love that.
Okay. Hannibal also smashed in the head of a goat. Again, for inspiration. Scipio, on the other hand, now arriving in the area, opted for the more classic route of a rousing pre-battle speech. Look at them, men. Weak, starved by the Alps, while we are the strongest military in the world. This will be easy, like 10,000 horse-sized ducks fighting a baby-sized baby. It'll be like Mike Tyson in his prime, kicking a baby. A tug of war between 10 sumo wrestlers
And a baby.
Help me out here, Ralph. A baby, sir? Yes, that's it. A baby.
I figured
The
that's
point
where he was
is,
going.
There is absolutely no possible way we could lose a battle this easy. So, if everybody's ready, on my mark,
I was going to say, there's been a lot of times in history where the size of your army does not matter. Tactical advantage, terrain advantage, superior weaponry. Like, there are different things that can factor into different outcomes in battle. So, I mean, the size of your army isn't always the best thing.
The Battle of Ticinus was over almost as soon as it had begun, as the Romans found themselves completely outmatched by Hannibal's famed lightning-fast Numidian cavalry, a key element in Hannibal's devastating double envelopment tactics. In the chaos, Scipio was wounded. Thankfully, according to some ancient writers, his handsome 17-year-old son, Scipio the Younger, saw his father fall. Scipio the Younger supposedly saved his father, and in the process, earned himself a lot of daddy's kisses. The Romans ended up fleeing the area, destroying the bridge behind them as they went. For a nation
scared shitless.
so overtly confident in victory,
No, thank you.
no,
We're gone. We're just gonna
running away with their tail between their legs.
Yep.
It was humiliating. And
Fuck
you know
yeah,
who
probably
felt
was.
so as well? The Celts. They began flocking to Hannibal's side, just as he'd hoped. Even Celtic troops
his
fighting
army.
for Rome in the Roman camp began to reconsider. Man,
Enemy of my enemy.
We should try to join Hannibal. I hear you. Maybe we should bring him a gift. What do you think he'd like?
Roman heads.
Oh, I know. Hey, Hannibal. We want to join your side, and we brought you a present. A gift? For me?
Roman heads.
I hope it's Roman heads. Oh, please be Roman heads.
Roman heads!
How did you know? Running away from Hannibal was humiliating enough, but having dozens of Romans beheaded in the night. Now,
I love it. I love it. Just simplistically, I love it.
Now that's embarrassing. Ticinus had been a relatively small battle, but the psychological impact it had early on was huge, and it was only just a taste of what Hannibal was capable of.
Decimate
Despite the
someone's
shocking
army.
initial loss, however, Rome still didn't seem to fully understand the danger posed by the monster now loose in their territory. The Senate was full of excuses. It's those traitorous Celts. That's why we lost. Yeah, and it was a cavalry battle.
Fucking Celts. All their goddamn fault.
And our consul was bald. Once he faces
you have a bald fucking console. This is bullshit.
Really pee his pants.
And I play World of Warcraft, and transmog's 10% of my damage right there.
Preparing to invade Africa.
Don't ask what's under the cap.
Some success, even capturing Malta. But then he heard the news. Hannibal's in Italy, and I'm being ordered home. But I was gonna be the big boy. I was gonna invade Carthage and win the war. Well, you can be a big boy at home. No!
The bats of Carthage.
Somebody need a nap, sir?
No! Oh god, that makes me think of what was it? Oh god, what fucking movie was it? Gladiator? He was like, the beast of Carthage. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
The longest brought his army on the long journey north. When he arrived in the area to decisively neutralize Hannibal, the two consuls joined their forces together, creating a double consular army. But the two consuls weren't exactly on the same page. Having a nice rest there, old man? I'm wounded, Longus. Pathetic. You don't understand. He's more dangerous than we thought. Maybe for you. Whoops. Listen, we can't just march straight at him like we normally do. We need to train our men through the winter, and we'll try again in spring.
It's not a bad idea. Consolidate forces.
From a bowling ball. Hey, I'll kick your ass, Longus. Any day now. I'm coming. Just you wait. Oh, Scipio, you feeble old man. Scipio was apparently quite cautious after his recent encounter with Hannibal,
mean old man.
While Longus, typically Roman, couldn't wait to give Hannibal a swirly.
Well, yeah, younger general trying to get his name out there.
When two consuls joined their forces, it turned out the Romans had an interesting system in place. They would each take turns being the one in charge. Consul 1 would lead one day, then Consul 2 the next. Back and forth,
that
back and forth. As you can imagine, when the two consuls didn't agree, things didn't go so well.
Well, yeah, as a soldier, you're trying to do two different sets of orders at the same time.
Probably assumed even more command than normal. Hannibal had Celtic spies in the Roman camp. He fully understood the Roman system and Longus's hot-headed nature, and he knew he could exploit it. For goodness sake! What's wrong, sir? I'm trying to order some pizza, but I keep getting fed all these personalized ads about being a hothead. I'm not a hothead, am I? No, sir. Butt insurance? Who would buy butt insurance? Yeah, that sounds...
Oh, that man needs some butt insurance because that is officially a national treasure and needs to be taken care of. I mean, yeah. National treasure.
Really stupid. Sir, it seems like a lot of data brokers have collected data on you. They could sell that data to Hannibal. What? But don't worry, because
here comes your targeted ad right
with
now.
Today's wonderful sponsor, Incogni. Hooray! I've been getting at you for some time to protect your personal data online.
One of these days I might get sponsored, who knows?
Aren't you?
Yes, I am an Imlet.
Did you?
No, I did not. Yes,
now
very.
Would you look at that?
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to look over here instead.
A heck of a lot of your personal data.
They probably haven't.
Sell it to third parties like advertisers or insurance companies.
They might have.
You even knowing.
They probably did.
Sally from the Butt Insurance Company got your name, number, address, social security number, and favorite color from?
Whoa, now. Here's the thing. What me and Sally did is none of your fucking business, alright? We might have... Continuing.
Painstakingly contact the hundreds of brokers that have our data and politely ask them to delete it.
Okay, let's be fair. It was actually my wife that did it.
Average human about 3,000 years. And that's why you need Incogni. I was shocked to find how many data brokers Incogni had tracked, potentially selling my data. But all I had
just
to
your
do
data.
Was create
278. I thought it'd be like
give them permission to work on my behalf.
42? Because I thought 42 is the answer to everything. Come on now.
For me. And since these data brokers don't stop there,
not 42,
will continuously work to keep my data safe with an annual plan.
Not 42.
So if you want to protect your personal data too, go to incognito.com/oversimplified
I might have misinterpreted that wrong.
to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan.
Hey, Deep Thought said that 42 is the answer to everything in the universe. I'm going to believe that till the day I die.
And as always, you'll be supporting my channel. So thank you.
Yay! Now, support their channel!
Oh yeah. Roman heads,
support every
a double consular army, and a hothead. Whew. Hannibal needed to keep smashing the Romans in battle in order to maintain the loyalty of the Celts. And so to fight
fighting in your top brass and a military and stuff like this is probably just causing all kinds of issues.
Clever trap, and he made sure to spring it while Longus was still in charge.
Ooh.
The plan began with his army getting an early night's sleep. All right, boys, time for lights out.
Aww.
Sorry, but we got a big day ahead of us.
Bullshit! I hate being told to go to bed early, because then I don't want to.
Good night, boys.
Like, anytime I need to go to sleep early, my brain's just like, no.
Gorzog,
you're fucked.
Send out the cavalry. That cavalry made their way over to the Roman camp, arriving just before dawn. Hey, Romans! Wakey, wakey! What's going on? Hey, Longus, your butt smells like a butt. It does not!
Exhaustion is a fucking killer.
Troops. Longus, these playground insults are clearly meant to lure you out. Well, it's working! Send out the troops. Longus, it's clearly a trap. And I'm falling for it! Send out the troops!
Send out the troops!
Wake up. You're heading out for battle. What?
Aww, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I need 5 minutes.
As the Romans hurried out of camp, the Numidians began luring them back to the Carthaginian camp, where these gentle angels were just awakening from their slumber. Eat up, boys.
Let's have a good breakfast. Everyone good stretch. Have a cigarette, hit the bathroom, maybe run out before you get ready for the day. Oh, you're calm, collected, ready to roll.
Hey, why have you stopped marching? Longus, there's a freezing river in front of us. Well, get your gluteus maximus in the water.
Bad.
All right, boys, time to lather up. This oil will insulate you from the cold. It also smells like lavender. There's the Carthaginian camp. Get ready to fight, men.
Yes.
I think the water from the river is beginning to ice over. I can't move. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought war would be fun? Sitting around a nice hot campfire playing Truth or Dare with your friends? Welcome to the real world! Truth, who do you like? Sharon?
Ooh, not Sharon. Gross.
Not Sharon. Gross.
Perfectly orchestrated events so that his enemy was cold, tired, and hungry,
our
while
personal
his men
space
were
has been
well
invaded.
rested and covered in oil. When the two sides engaged one another, the Romans were in no condition to fight. And the cherry on top, the previous night, Hannibal had sent out an elite force of men led by his brother to go and hide behind a bush. They suddenly sprung out, encircling the exhausted Romans, who were then cut to pieces. Once again, Hannibal's superior cavalry and double envelopment tactics had...
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he lured him out and pretty much caused his entire army to go exhausted, unprepared. Their morale was low. They had to go through a freezing river, so by the time they even got to his encampment, I would say, fuck it. I wouldn't want to fight. I'd be like, nah, fuck this noise. I'm going the other way. Good fucking luck. You die out there. Stab me in my back when I turn around, because either way, I'm fucking dead.
Flummoxed the Romans. But the key word at Trebia was control. Hannibal used his intel on the enemy and the environment of the battlefield to carefully control the conditions of battle, creating lots of little advantages for himself that paved the way to success. And concealing troops for an ambush? All of these things what make Hannibal the genius he's remembered as today. As for Longus, he managed to escape the battlefield with a small number of troops.
Pussy went running.
He didn't want the Senate to find out what had happened, and he began obscuring communications back to Rome.
Oh, fuck, that's a good way to get killed.
Where have you been? We've been looking for you. Nowhere in particular. Longus, 30,000 men are missing. Do you know where they are? They're taking a bath. 30,000
Are they underneath the gigantic
all in
rug?
a bath.
Please tell me they're underneath the gigantic rug.
What's under that rug?
Story time. So, as an 8-year-old living in Arizona, I had a fireplace in my home. Thought it'd be a great idea to wad up paper and throw it into the slit fireplace while my mother was sleeping, because, you know, she worked nights and bartended and everything. So, one of these that I threw in caught fire. A piece of wood popped, threw the fireball back out of the fire, burned, I would say, a basketball-sized hole in the carpet before I could get it put out. After that happened, I went and grabbed a basket full of socks, dumped it on top of the burn pile, set said basket upside down on top of the socks, and proceeded to get away with it for 3 days until discovered and received the vicious yelling and ass-whooping that I deserved for doing such a thing. So, this carpet hiding thing is a little PTSD familiar for me.
Aurora Borealis? Aurora Borealis? Oh, well, that's my consulship over. Good luck with Hannibal. Bye. Trivia had been a disaster for the Romans.
Dip the hell out.
And as even more Celts began flocking to Hannibal,
5,000 men to 20,000 men lost? That's a lot.
Over Cisalpine Gaul. In Rome, complacency turned to alarm. Hannibal had outwitted them on their own soil and inflicted a costly defeat. But with that, Scipio and Longus's terms as consul were over. They were replaced with 2 new consuls, Servilius and Flaminius. The Romans may now have begun to realize the trouble they were in and the genius Hannibal had shown in invading Italy. The Romans had expected to be the ones controlling this war. Remember, they thought they were going to invade Carthage. Now their plans lay in ruins, and they were levying 11 new legions to deal with the threat. Hannibal had completely redefined the war. But Hannibal had a little problem of his own. Things had gone well so far, but the Celts were notoriously fickle, and Hannibal needed to ensure he maintained their alliance and his base of support in Italy. Any Celts he captured fighting for Rome, he treated extremely well and allowed them to return to their homes. But the longer he hung around in their territory, eating all their food and leaving beard trimmings in their sinks, the more resentful they may become. They wanted to go
leaving
south
the beard trim in another man's sink. It's pretty low.
Also hoped to sway Rome's other Italian allies in the south.
Gotta clean that shit up. You over there chilling at another man's home.
The path was clear. Hannibal had to move south. Just one problem. There were 2 main routes Hannibal could take to move south. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly where the 2 new Roman consuls had taken fortified positions. If Hannibal tried to move on them, he'd be
I'd go by the sea, probably.
And could be bottled in. There is a third option. Ooh, tell me. We could move through this vast impassable marshland flooded with dirty, stinky, disease-infested water that at times would come up to our necks. But there's no way we would attempt that, right? That'd be crazy, right?
I think we're gonna go with a crazy idea.
Hannibal? Hannibal's 4-day trip
crazy
across
idea.
the marshlands was hell on earth.
Oh, I fucking bet,
as crazy as when he crossed the Alps.
Look, I did something similar, but it was only for an hour,
because there's
and it was in a creek.
Lie down, meaning 4 full days without sleep,
Oh,
slugging through
fuck
heavy mud.
that.
You contract cholera, your foot falls off, and Jacob directly in front of you won't stop pooping in your path. In fact, everybody's pooping in your path.
Oh, for
some delirious, sleepless men would see
everybody's pooping in your
and
path.
Say, man, I could just sink into that, and then they would.
Goodbye.
When pack animals died, it gave nearby men a chance to rest, but only for a few moments before they were whipped back into line. Even Hannibal himself couldn't escape the torture of it. Hey, Hannibal, if we see a Starbucks, can we stop? I need to take a leak.
Whoa! Pink eye.
What?
Pink eye?
Jeez, Hannibal. Looks like you picked up a nasty eye infection. Normally for this sort of thing, we just wash it out with some clean water. But as you can see, water everywhere, but it's full of Jim Bob's poop.
God damn it, Jim Bob.
Doc. I'll just take care of it myself. That'll be $3,000. When the now possibly one-eyed Hannibal and his army emerged from the swamp,
badass. Said fuck that noise. I'll take that shit out myself.
He had just
I get infected, knife that bitch out.
Men right past the Romans into rich Etrurian
I'm too much of a pussy to do it.
He could replenish his supplies, and his Celt allies could go crazy, securing Roman loot and booty. As fields and villages went up in flames, one Roman consul couldn't help but notice the hot-headed Flaminius, feeling it was his responsibility to protect these
determined
lands,
look to
rather
him.
than waiting for his co-consul to
Feel
come
that
join
guy.
him, immediately left.
I also feel he's probably gonna fuck up too.
Now, this Flaminius was an interesting character. He was what the Romans called a new man. He came from the lower plebeian classes of Roman society, and as a result, he reportedly had kind of a screw-you attitude to the establishment.
I can feel
and
that.
a big old arrogant chip on his shoulder. Picture Sid Vicious wearing a toga. That.
Imagine Sid Vicious wearing a toga. My kind of man.
It's Flaminius. And
I follow that guy.
Thanks to his spies, knew everything. Just as with Longus.
And see, like I said, he's probably going to fail, unfortunately.
Was just the kind of man he could lure into a trap. Hannibal led Flaminius to the entrance of a narrow pass along the north shore of Lake Trasimene. Flaminius watched as Hannibal's army entered the pass. I've done it. I've spotted the enemy. Sir? That big follow us sign seems kind of like they're trying to lure you in. Yes, Gareth, and I'm taking the bait. Sir, this really seems like a trap.
Why?
Yes, Gareth, and I'm falling
I would
for
do
it.
that.
Daylight was fading.
That's the worst
so for
part.
Now, the Romans set up camp. The two armies encamped across the lake from one another, and night fell over the two camps. In the morning, Flaminius would catch up to Hannibal, and he would be the hero of Rome. For now, the Romans got nice and comfy in their beds. Good night, Flaminius.
Oh, they're going to attack him at night.
Rome. Good evening, Hannibal. During the night, Hannibal ordered total stealth.
We're going in deep, gentlemen. We're going to fuck them up in their sleep.
As tens of thousands of troops...
Get your plastic bags ready. Bars of soap and socks ready. Orchers and socks. Quarters and socks. We attack while they sleep.
Completely undetected by Rome's scouts.
That's my horse. Anybody gets that? I love you.
Let's go, girls. Flaminius took off across the lake shore to try to catch Hannibal. As he did, even the weather seemed to be on Hannibal's side. A thick fog rose from the surface of the lake, obscuring visibility.
I'm getting fucking Assassin's Creed up in here.
This is perfect. The mist will obscure our approach. Hannibal will never see me coming.
Oh, I've seen one of these recently and learned about them. Those,
Carthaginians are charging down the hill toward...
Hold on. I gotta figure it out. What was it? Celtic horn. Yeah, these fucking things right here. If you get a chance, go listen to one of these things. They sound like legit fucking monsters. And if you heard one of these things on the battlefield, like during Celtic Wars and stuff, holy shit, I would have shit my pants. Like, look at this. Like, this is a guy right here blowing one of these things. They are huge. And quite literally sound like something's gonna fucking maw your face off coming at you. Check them out. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Us? You mean 50,000 Carthaginians are charging right into my trap? The Romans found themselves completely hemmed in on all sides.
Ooh,
with zero visibility in the fog.
They're done.
The fighting was terrifying and chaotic. Troops were pushed into the lake in their heavy armor, where they were either cut down or drowned. And Flaminius, who likely stood out like a sore thumb in his consul attire, caught the attention of one Celt warrior, with his head possibly swirling with thoughts of how the Romans had decimated his homeland. According to the ancient writers, this Celt took his chance.
A hit.
In the 3-hour-long massacre, 15,000 Romans were killed, and an equal number captured. An entire army completely wiped out, along with their consul. During the battle, the Roman vanguard had managed to break through at the front and climbed the hill above the
10,000 men out of a 40,000 man unit.
Was a blood-red lake and a sea of Roman bodies.
That's pretty brutal.
Worse yet, when the other consuls sent cavalry to try to aid Flaminius' doomed legions, they too were
put a fear of God in you. Never want to set foot on a battlefield against us for fucking sure. Oh.
Rome went into a frenzy. For the second time,
fucking political level of that shit would probably be nuts. Imagine you're this great empire.
Common citizens
and you're getting
began
fucking
flocking to the
wrecked
city for
left
safety.
and right.
Women
Losing
waited by the city gates
thousands
in
of
tears,
men
hoping to hear news of loved ones. This
that never
one
came
man,
home.
having just led his battered army across the Alps
One-eyed
the previous
man, now
year,
fucking
now
even more
stood less
badass
than
looking.
100 miles from Rome. To this point,
I look more
he had
badass.
been a problem. Now, Hannibal was a crisis.
No, I need the eye
And
patch.
in a crisis, Rome took desperate measures. They actually had a system in place when dealing with an emergency of this magnitude. They would forgo their two-console power-sharing system and instead temporarily give one man near total power and authority to be as decisive as he needed and hopefully salvage the situation. This all-powerful position in Rome's government
Trying to do stuff in a mirror and realize
dictator. It's actually where we get the word. But unlike modern dictators, Roman ones didn't score perfect rounds of golf or ride bears through the Siberian tundra. They held their power for just 6 months before they were required to give it up. And in Rome's hour of need,
that's
the man chosen to
kind of
be
like a democracy there.
in 217 BC, one of the most highly esteemed members of the Roman Senate, Fabius Maximus.
Fabius
So how would Fabius,
Maximus,
as dictator, confront Hannibal?
Like that name.
Well, Fabius understood that marching all of Rome's young men straight into a one-man
quite literally is what is happening.
Dry. Hannibal was clearly too dangerous to face head-on in battle. However, he was also stuck in their territory with dwindling manpower and forced to live off the land. It wasn't a sustainable position to be in long-term, and he could only remain there for so long. So, if Rome avoided battle with Hannibal to prevent any more crippling
they're going to starve him out,
and
so they can't take their
simply
supplies.
maneuvered around
It's
him,
not a bad
blocking
idea.
supplies and taking out smaller
Not a
contingents
bad
where
idea at
possible.
all.
Hannibal would gradually become weaker, while they would gradually become stronger. And so
Well, yeah, because Rome will have the supply chain and all that to keep all their soldiers well taken care of. But Hannibal's, they're gonna have to hunt, pillage what they can, take what little bits they can. They'll make it very difficult for them in general. So.
Fabius's strategy couldn't have been any less Roman. Romans were meant to march headfirst into battle.
Fuck no, we're not a bunch of pussies. You run right headfirst in there and you kill our men. We want them dead. We want them dead.
Hannibal was continuing south. He had to stay on the move to keep his army fed, and he was still aiming to undermine Rome's alliances in the south. As he went, in a calculated display of aggression, he devastated the Roman countryside and killed many Romans, all in plain sight of Fabius and his army. We're just gonna stand here? Yes. Are you a coward?
Look, it's my horse's son. He's working for the Romans.
That's my farm. Well, McDonald, thank you for your sacrifice. You're a hero now.
God damn it, not McDonald's farm.
Old McDonald had a farm. Shut up. But you know who else hated Fabius's strategy? Hannibal. He understood the danger he was in. Turning Rome's allies against her required Hannibal to keep smashing the Romans in battle. He couldn't do that if Fabius wouldn't fight him. Multiple times, Hannibal tried to goad Fabius into a fight, but Fabius wouldn't bite. Failing that,
no, I'm good, bro. I'm just gonna
against Fabius. According to
not
the
our beef. You do you.
He burned down all the farms he could, but any farm he learned was owned by Fabius himself. He left well alone. Hey, Fabius, why isn't he burning down your farm? You got some sort of a secret deal with him? What? Of course not.
Hey, Hannibal!
I like that.
Burn my farm too, please!
No!
Burn my farm too, please! No! Remember our secret deal!
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got to admit, he's a genius. Hannibal's problem, however, was that he had to stay on the move to keep supplying his army from the local lands. At one point, he entered Campania, one of the richest regions of Italy, great for resupplying, and great for showing up Fabius in front of Rome's South Italian allies. But he was caught in a valley, and Fabius quickly moved to block his escapes. Haha! We've got him! After he's used up all the valley's supplies, he'll starve. Sir?
Sir?
What are all those lights leaving the valley? Is he trying to escape? Lights in plain view. Well, that's a trap if I've ever seen one. Suspecting a trap, Fabius refused to budge.
Oh, hell
but
no.
other Romans in the valley rushed to confront Hannibal, only to find the Carthaginian army was actually just a herd of oxen with torches tied to their heads.
Oh,
They
that's
then
great.
found
I love it.
themselves caught in an ambush. With the Romans distracted, Hannibal's army was able to slip away into the night unopposed. Classic Hannibal. For all his inaction, the dissatisfied Romans mockingly dubbed him Fabius the Delayer. But the thing is, Fabius's strategy was probably the best thing he could have done.
Well, yeah.
He was right
I mean,
that constant encounters with Hannibal were bleeding Rome dry.
it was.
And the time
You're
he
just
took
sacrificing
allowed Rome
lives.
some breathing room to recover their forces when they desperately needed to, while putting Hannibal into an increasingly more difficult position.
Yeah, he's getting
Modern
deeper and deeper into their
historians view
territory.
Fabius's strategy as generally a good idea. To this day,
I think
the
it was a
act
good
of
idea.
not engaging an enemy, but instead gradually wearing them down, is still referred to as the Fabian strategy. But when Fabius,
I mean, you're getting named a strategy named after you. I mean, that's pretty fucking big. It means it did something.
Start fighting again. However,
But yeah, you can't win a win a war by running away. It's not possible.
Tactics up until now had been very sneaky.
Yeah,
Or,
I mean, he's
if
using
you're
guerrilla
Roman,
warfare
you
tactics,
might
more or
say
less.
Dishonorable. I'm sick of it.
Okay.
Every time we try to take this guy down, we march straight at him. But then, oh no, Hannibal's hiding in a bush. Hannibal's got 30,000 men up a tree. At this point, I'm not convinced my wife isn't just Hannibal wearing a disguise.
It probably is.
Look, this time, we obviously have to switch something up. Now, granted, we're Roman, so
All
we're
right.
gonna march straight at him without thinking. That can't be helped. It's in our blood. But I have a proposition. This time, when we march straight at him, we do it with a massive army. I'm talking like 80,000 men. It won't matter what kind of shenanigans he pulls. He can hide in all the bushes he wants. There's no way he can possibly beat off 80,000 men. And so it was. With
Masturbation.
consuls,
Masturbation
Rome
joke.
put together a massive army.
Or no.
The biggest
Derp.
Rome had ever fielded
Hand job
to
joke.
put Hannibal
I'm
away
stupid.
once and
I know.
for all.
Shut it.
To gather the men required, 2/3 of them ended up being completely inexperienced. But
Yeah.
how much experience does
They
it
probably
take to be
conscripted
expendable
a
war
shit ton of the
as
population.
this
I mean,
massive
that's what
army set
most
out in the summer of
countries did in that time.
216 BC,
I mean, especially in
the
these
Romans knew
campaigns
they
where they're just
needed
being
to win
decimated
this
over and
battle.
over again.
Just one victory over
Conscription is
Hannibal
huge.
would
I
likely
mean,
be enough
sometimes they
to
even
end his
bypass
entire
the normal,
campaign. And this
always
time,
make sure to
their
leave
overwhelming
one of the
manpower
name,
gave
a
them
son, to carry
confidence
on your name
they
or something like
could do
that.
it.
You
Hannibal
know, they
had
don't take
taken
both the father
position
and
at
the son
town
or
of
something
Cannae,
like that.
where he had captured
They'll
an
go
important
bypass that,
Roman
and they said,
supply
fuck it,
depot.
everyone in, we're going.
With Fabius gone, Hannibal knew a battle was likely coming, and he was eager to fight it on his terms. But when his men looked out at the Roman camp, they couldn't believe
How
what they
many
were
fucking
seeing.
people?
That army's huge. There's no way we can possibly beat off all these men. How are we gonna beat off all of these men? You know what I mean. He's right, Hannibal.
I'm a
Hannibal is
5-year-old.
then said to have replied, Gisco, my friend, don't worry. There may be a lot of them, but amongst their ranks, there's not a single man named Gisco. This joke was apparently so funny that his officers began to laugh and laugh. And when his men in the camp heard the laughter, they were like, hey, they're laughing. I guess that means we're gonna win the battle. Yippee! As for the Romans,
False,
the consuls were
false
another
motivation,
pair
I'll take
between
it.
an inexperienced
Oh,
husband
yeah.
and a wise scholar. Although the main historian from this era was good friends with Paulus's family, so take that with a grain of salt.
Don't worry, I'll make you
On
look good,
his
dude. I know
day
you're
of
gonna
command,
fuck this
the
all up,
rash
but
and hasty Varro,
I don't give a
despite the apparent
fuck.
praise from
You're
Paulus,
better
sent
than
the
my
army out for battle.
book.
And when Hannibal saw this,
And your
he
dick
did the same.
was
And here comes
massive.
the single largest battle of
I
the
got you,
Second
bro.
Punic War, and one of the most renowned battles in history.
Damn,
the
he was
infamous
probably-
Battle of Cannae.
Can I?
In all the
The
pre-battle
Battle
maneuvering,
of
Hannibal was
Cannae.
able to ensure his army was fighting from the south. This meant the seasonal dust-carrying winds were to his back and blowing
Okay.
directly into the faces of the Romans.
Probably pretty
Like I
fucking
said,
annoying.
Control.
Okay,
After
okay.
2 years in Italy, Hannibal's infantry had dwindled to about 40,000. The Romans possibly outnumbered him 2-1. Their army was so big that their maniples stretched far deeper than they normally would. The Romans planned to charge Hannibal's thin, weak line like a battering ram and break it. They also chose a narrow battlefield in the hopes it would prevent Hannibal's far superior cavalry from being able to outmaneuver them. They wanted an honorable battle where pure strength rather than trickery would decide the outcome. If Hannibal had his say, however, trickery might end up having a lot to do with it. He ordered his line to position themselves as an outward bulge, with his weakest troops at the very center. Just
he wants to
out of sight from the
barrel
Romans,
right through the center and split.
Infantry, waiting
Since they're not wide, they're deep. He can just split and keep plowing through.
Troops smashed into the Carthaginian center. The shape of Hannibal's
I was wrong.
The overwhelming weight of the Romans hit
I usually am wrong.
Troops first, and they were pushed back. Hannibal's outward bulge reversed inward, with the Romans being funneled in towards the weak center. Hannibal had positioned himself at the center to encourage the troops to hold out as long as possible against the Roman onslaught, because while the Romans were unleashing carnage on the center, Hannibal's cavalry needed time to do their job.
Oh, they're gonna flank them.
After a barbaric fight, sent the Roman horse packing, with the consul Paulus even sustaining a severe head injury. He managed to
go busting the head with the rock. I love it.
Then the heavy cavalry turned and approached Varro's cavalry from behind. At the first sight of the coming Carthaginian envelopment, Varro ordered his horsemen to flee the battlefield. The Carthaginians had won the cavalry battle. But back in the center, according to some accounts, Hannibal's line did eventually end up caving to the massive weight of the Romans, and they began to flee. The Romans pushed deeper, and organization within the army likely broke down as they became a giant mass trying to massacre the fleeing Carthaginians. They didn't realize that they were playing right into
They're
Hannibal's
about to be
hands.
entrapped.
At that moment, Hannibal's elite units, having done no fighting yet, and therefore fresh as a daisy, turned and smashed into the Roman sides. Many of these troops were wearing Roman helmets and armor they had picked up after previous battles, and the confused Romans may not have even realized they were the enemy. As Hannibal managed to regain the composure of his center and encourage them back into the fight, the Carthaginian cavalry
came swooping in and
and look at what lies before you. A military general's wet dream.
A fucking slaughter.
Encirclement of a much larger force by a much smaller force.
It's literally just a fucking meat grinder at that point.
Unbelievably managed to use
because you're just slowly working them down they'll surrender or die.
Had actually allowed them to use their own immense power and push themselves into an encircled position. This was the genius of Cannae.
Fuck, that's pretty fucking insane.
The annihilation began. For hours, the Carthaginians from all sides.
8,000 men just decimated.
That at times, they couldn't even lift their arms to defend themselves. The killing went on so long that the Carthaginians became exhausted from the non-stop massacre. And by the time the butchery came to an end, the grim toll spoke for itself. To Hannibal's several thousand lost, the Romans suffered 60 to 80,000 dead or captured. Yet another entire army wiped the fuck out. Hannibal.
Damn.
Many high-ranking Romans met their end at Cannae.
Fuck.
For one, but also 80 senators and more. It's been estimated that 20% of Rome's male population, aged 18 to 50, died at Cannae. This was it.
20%?
Vengeance. The stunned Carthaginians, as they searched for their own...
20% of a nation's male population decimated in one battle. That is a devastating loss. Devastating.
Survivors among the dead couldn't believe the sight of it. An estimated 30,000 gallons of blood now lay spilled on the battlefield.
30,000 gallons of blood spilled on the battlefield.
Shockwaves throughout Italy. Just as
you mentioned the people hearing. Wait, you mentioned the people hearing about this. You know, Imagine if news traveled today, how it does today, how fast, like if that got around. Imagine waking up reading the news. 80,000 of our soldiers were slain today. All of them. Dead. 30,000 gallons of blood were spilled on the battlefield. Oh, fuck. It would cause mass panic. Absolute mass panic. Fucking just annihilated them? A smaller army annihilated 80,000 men. That's crazy. That's insane. That's a genius leader to pull that off.
Southern Italy now defected to his side, including the second largest city on the peninsula.
Shit.
Wow.
Capua.
Hannibal, this is incredible. What could possibly come next?
The world.
Jim Bob. I've killed 150,000 Romans. I've turned her allies against her. That's it. That's vengeance. So let me tell you what comes next. Rome surrenders. Their territories are reduced. We recover our lost islands. And Carthage dominates the Mediterranean once again. But sir, what if they don't surrender? Jim Bob, did you miss what just happened? Of course they're gonna surrender. Throughout his campaign, Hannibal had shown himself to be very adept at reading the Roman mind. But if he
Romans are very stubborn.
That Rome might surrender, it was the first time he severely underestimated them. And he was about to discover an extremely inconvenient fact about Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Rome never surrenders. At a Roman survivors camp near Cannae, one young
There's some mean motherfuckers.
overheard
They
some
will
troops
not give up.
discussing how they would flee Rome. Drawing his sword,
He killed him.
threatened to cut down any man that would abandon Rome in its hour of need. That officer was Scipio the Younger. But soon enough, the
Scipio.
Romans would come to call him Scipio Africanus, the hero of Rome.
Ooh. Part 3 coming soon. Really, I mean it. It won't take a year, don't worry. It has been a while since we got an Oversimplified. That's right. I think. That's absolutely beautiful. I think. Well, thank you for joining me today. I will say I absolutely love the Oversimplified series.
This video was made possible by Honey. Click.
He's got just such a unique style, a wonderful voice, and you instantly recognize his work, and it's amazing. He gets so much praise, and he deserves every bit of it. And the way that he presents the information, it's easy to absorb. You actually learn about it, and you want to retain the knowledge. I mean,
They should use it in schools.
yeah, like literally, this is how they should present this information in schools. Imagine how well our children would be able to absorb this. Like my son, my daughters, I would love for them to be able to learn in this kind of way. And you know, I haven't taken a chance to actually see if how well they would retain this, and I might try that as kind of a experiment of sorts. Could be fun. Could record. Who knows? Maybe. We'll see. But what's that?
Make learning fun.
Make learning fun. God fucking damn straight. Make learning fun again. God, learning was fun back in my day. Anyways, this is Zero. That is Kazu way over there, halfway dead and sick. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, watch it again, tell your friends, keep watching. Hope you guys are having a good one. This is Zero. I'll catch you guys later.